The Naked Gun is a brand new spoof comedy that just came out over this past weekend. Not to be confused with The Naked Gun or The Naked Gun other movies from back in the day. This is a new take, even though it's doing the same type of thing. So this film is directed by Akiva Schaffer, and it stars Liam Neeson, Pamela Anderson, Danny Huston, Paul Walter Hauser. The movie follows Liam Neeson, who is playing Lieutenant Frank Drebin, and when the police squad force is threatened to be shut down, he has to solve a case to try to keep the police squad open. I'm not kidding, that's basically the IMDb description of the plot, and honestly, for a movie like this, you don't really need to know much more. So obviously this is a comedy movie. We haven't been getting a lot of comedy movies lately. In fact, a lot of people have been commenting on the fact that the comedy is kind of dying from mainstream theaters. Most of the comedies that you see nowadays are on streaming services. You know, you might every now and then see a very small budget comedy that's in theaters and it's a poof and a smoke and it's gone and you never hear about it again. And this movie has a tough task because it has to first and foremost make you laugh, which is the most important part of any comedy, but it also has to like honor the Naked Gun legacy that came before without overdoing it in terms of like being a legacy remake-will. I'm not sure exactly how to classify this one. Like, you have to be reverential without being overly nostalgic, and that's actually one thing I do want to praise before I get to anything else. This is a movie that could have drowned you in a bunch of nostalgia bait jokes or a bunch of member berries and a bunch of, ooh, look at what we did last time. Okay, we're gonna do the same thing, except we're gonna like twist and tweak it a little bit. And that's not really what happened here. I mean, there are some jokes that reference the Naked Gun series and things that came before, but they definitely stay away from that. Most of the time, they're telling jokes that apply to this movie and the situations here. I'm not gonna hold you guys, this is one of the funnier movies that I have seen in a hot minute. I mean, even if you're not gonna be busting your guts laughing at this movie, I find it hard to believe you could watch this movie the entire way through and not at the very least chuckle pretty hard at some of the humor in this movie. Like, this is a very funny script. There's a wide range of jokes in this movie, and I gotta say, like, at least 90% of them hit, which is not something you're used to seeing in a comedy movie. And there's like this relentless comedic energy to this movie. Like, there's probably a joke every 2 minutes, maybe even less. There are so many jokes in this movie that the audience might laugh at a joke and then they might be laughing through the next joke, or they might miss part of the next joke because they're still laughing at the last one. The jokes in this movie are a perfect split between ironic, a little bit of slapstick, a little bit raunchy. I gotta give a shout out to Liam Neeson. Liam Neeson is the thing that kind of makes this movie work. He's got this perfect deadpan, very dry, it's very serious, and that's why a lot of the jokes land, is because he's taking things so serious. In that sense, he is taking from, you know, Naked Gun legend Neeson that came before him. Also, Pamela Anderson is in this movie. She's really good in the movie too. She has some really funny bits too. I also thought she and Liam Neeson had good chemistry, which is kind of funny because I found out right before the movie that in real life, Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson are a thing and have been a thing for a while, I guess. So they've been dating in real life, and then if I hadn't known, I would have just come to this video and been like, oh, well, their chemistry in the movie is great, and then left it at that. But now I'm here and I'm like, well, their chemistry is great, but I can also tell that they're dating in real life. Like, that's how good the chemistry was. I don't know if I would be thinking like that if I didn't know prior to. It's one of those weird chicken or the egg type of things. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but you guys sort of, I think, understand what I'm talking about. And the laughs in this movie just kept coming. Every now and then I had a crazy, wild, like out of my body type of laugh. And the rest of the time, even if I'm not like overly laughing, it's still funny enough that I'm chortling just a little bit. And it's not just Liam Neeson and Pamela Anderson. I think the entire cast commits to the bits in this movie. I also like the way this movie was shot. It's not a movie that looks or feels cheap in any way. It has good cinematography. It has some pretty decent camera work. The score for this movie was a little bit better than I expected it to be. In the end, if you've been dying for a good comedy, a comedy that is a spoof that kind of makes fun of itself and makes fun of everything else, like the meta jokes, the referential stuff, it's all there in this movie. If that's the kind of movie you've been looking for, I feel like The Naked Gun is gonna satisfy that itch. I will say the movie is kind of relentless and exhausting in the way that it approaches the comedy in this movie. It is mostly a good thing because most of the jokes hit, but there are some points where you feel like there's some jokes that keep coming at you, and every now and then you're gonna get one that doesn't really land. There are some running gags throughout the movie, and most of them work, but there are gonna be a few that slip through the cracks where you're like, it's not really that funny. Why do they keep dragging this bit out? And I feel like if the pacing of the movie in terms of jokes was a little bit slower, maybe those jokes that miss wouldn't hurt so much or wouldn't be so noticeable. Like, this movie is incredibly dumb, and it knows it's dumb, and it embraces the fact that it's dumb, so you can't really make fun of it for that. But in terms of the plot and the villain or whatever, I'm not gonna give away the movie that they're ripping off of, but this plot is very bare bones, and it takes almost directly from this movie that I'm not gonna bring up. It's very derivative in that way. Like, it feels like they basically took that exact same plot and then they just switched some things, and it's pretty much the same story. Again, don't want to give away what movie it is, but once I say it and you watch the movie, you'll be like, oh shit, yeah, they did. They really didn't try that much with this story. But that's a nitpick, doesn't really matter. In the end, I really enjoyed The Naked Gun. I think it's a really funny movie, and I think most people are gonna laugh their asses off. Hopefully this is a sign to the rest of the industry that we need good comedies that are worth investing in. The comedy has been slowly dying over the last 10 to 15 years. Hopefully a movie like this can help bring it back a little bit. The Naked Gun was more than solid entertainment at the movies. Put this one in the Silver Age for Man of Steel. Guys, did you see The Naked Gun? How does it compare to the OG? Give me your favorite in the comment section below. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.